Hey you guys, what's up? And yes, I know it's been a while since I posted a video on here. I really intentionally wanted my last video to resonate with you guys. So if you all have not watched that video yet, please go and watch the how assumptions, negative assumptions especially, are ruining your relationships, because it's like so deep. And there is obviously more to that. Like, it's more than just negative assumptions that can ruin your relationships subconsciously, right? But we can get into that a different time, and I'm sure we will in enough time. But today we're going to talk about the fun stuff. We're going to talk about manifestation and quantum physics and how they both relate. Well, quantum physics is really down to like the science of like our being, right? Like as human beings, and like the science of like the earth and how energy flows throughout the universe as well, right? So I know that a lot of times in manifestation, a lot of people talk about quantum leaping. In fact, I talked about quantum leaping because, to be honest, when you really apply yourself and you do mindset work and you practice mindfulness, your life really can shift instantly, even if you notice small shifts. But it's the small, gradual shifts that you need to catch in your awareness to see the more grand, like major shifts, right? But remain grateful and remain ever flowing as your life gradually shifts, because what you're going to find is your own fulfillment. You're going to feel, honestly, you're going to feel like reborn, honestly, and you're going to really have a sense of gratitude for self that's way deeper than anything that you felt before, especially if this is like the first time you've done this work for so long, right? Or let's say it even took you a while to get here. You'll find this in your reality, right? So this is pretty much how it's broken down to work.
Single particle double slit experiment. It's one of the most stunning illustrations of how the quantum world is very different from the large-scale world of our physical intuition. In fact, it hints that the fundamental nature of reality may not be physical at all, at least in any sense that we're familiar with. Let's start with the familiar. In fact, let's start with a rubber ducky. It bobs up and down in a pool, causing periodic ripples to spread out. Some distance away, those waves encounter a barrier with two gaps cut in it. Most of the wave is blocked, but ripples pass through the gaps. When the new ripples start to overlap each other, they produce this really cool pattern. It's called an interference pattern. It's due to the fact that in some places, the peak of the ripple from one gap stacks on top of the peak from the other gap, making a more extreme peak. You also get more extreme dips when two troughs overlap. We call this constructive interference. But when the peak from one wave encounters the trough from another, they cancel out, leaving nothing. Destructive interference. So we have these alternating tracks of wavy and flat water. Any type of wave should make an interference pattern like this. For example, water waves and sound waves, but also light waves.
The basic understanding of quantum physics is the study of fundamental laws of nature at the smallest scales, including particles and energy. And so essentially in quantum physics, you'll know that when a certain particle is so concentrated on, or has a lot of pressure applied to it, it can go poof and can turn into a bunch of different particles. And so when it explodes like that, that is little bits of particles expanding into the quantum field, generating energy, okay? And remember, in our life, everything is indeed energy, okay? We are energetic beings, meaning when we have positive emotions and we're like high vibing, right? We're radiating highly and positively. And so that positive energy, we're beaming it out, it's going to come back to us in any way, shape, or form. But the same thing happens when we are vibing low. Even for my traumatized girlies, like my sad girls out there, be careful vibing too low out here. See, this is something that I really had to learn the hard way, which is why I started this channel. I spent years with my dominant state being sadness, more than anger. I would say maybe hurt, I would say, but even more than hurt and even pain, sadness, right? Like a constant state of grief. Well, because I dwelled in that lower state, dude, I dwelled in that state for years. Years, at least I would say at least a solid decade, just consistent, sad, like fleeting happiness, but not to where the happiness was fulfilled within me. Like for me to be whole, like how I am now, this took work, right? So it's like, imagine, 10 years, a full decade of my dominant state being sadness. And it doesn't even matter if it's like your low vibe for even, I don't know, I guess maybe an hour or two. But when that's your dominant state, the laws of our universe, I am what I attract. So if I am in a constant state of grief, sadness, lack, low self-concept, low self-love, low self-appreciation, low self-value, I'm going to attract all things that are like that to me subconsciously. And what do those things cause? More grief, more sadness, more pain. It was so nightmarish. Between that and the panic attacks and the anxiety that come with that state, and of course the depression, I have literally had enough of being that way. I've had enough for like a literal lifetime. Like I'm over it. And this is why I dedicated myself the way I have, to elevate the way I have, so I could not only live a better life for me, but, obviously like my child, my family, my loved ones, as we, move on together as a whole, because I did not want to drag that low, honestly, it is a toxic energy, even if it is mourning and grief, like it's still a toxic energy, because of all what it's attracting and the baggage and the weight of that, right? I did not want to bring that into this stage of my life. And even when I caught certain cycles and I've, worked through them and blocked and like unblocked them or whatever, I like knocked them out, both consciously and subconsciously, then I'm like, okay, I am on the right path and I am dedicated and I am determined to stay on this right path, because you get tired of yourself to a certain extent. You get tired of just living in a dominant state no matter what you do. And even when you seek outside or professional help, sometimes the truth is, obviously, no one's going to know you like how you know you, the deep, intimate parts of you, right? When you do some of this work, you might uncover parts of your childhood that you might have thought that you forgot, because when you really deep dive into yourself and journal and really work on active healing and working on manifesting a better life, especially knowing that we are all manifesting, whether subconsciously or consciously, it's a never ending thing. It's literally it's a part of the science and the evolution and the way of life. Manifestation is. It's not this magic woo-woo thing that's outside of us. It's not this like, oh, let me like, I don't know, breathe into a cup of water or something and maybe then I'll get it. Life is never outside of us. Life is only ever reflecting us. But I think where a lot of traumatized girlies may get trapped or caught up in is if you grew up experiencing a lot of hurt, pain, even abuse, sadness, grief, that state is going to be kind of dormant within your being, especially if you don't really do anything during like your teens or early 20s. I mean, why would you? That's like the growth stage, right? Like so many people like are just so focused on like, going to high school and having fun at this age. And that's not your fault, right? But like it's going to remain dormant. And then next thing you know, you may experience other traumas in your late teens, 20s, early 20s, mid 20s, late 20s. If it's following you to your 30s, that's when you really need to pay some attention, because that's exactly what I did, and really nip it in the bud. And you can. No one is broken, okay? No one is quote unquote unfixable. You are not unfixable. You are not unlovable. You are not impossible. Literally, like your life is all you. Once you realize that Our reality is simply reflecting us, meaning everyone in it, our environment, every little thing. It's a reflection of you, right? It's a reflection of self. And once you embrace that mirror, and once you finally embrace and love self, I promise you, it's all going to come together. Even in the law of quantum physics, what you focus on expands. So focus on yourself in a loving, nurturing, positive way, okay? Now, quantum entanglement is considered a bit of a phenomenon where two particles become linked in such a way that they share the same fate, regardless of the distance separating them. Sometimes be those lingering desires that they don't ever change, right? Let's say that, you've always wanted to be, I don't know, an astronaut or something ever since you were a kid, right? And that's not to say that that's impossible, right? But then let's say that changes and then you grow up and you become, a firefighter or something, or a lawyer or whatever. But as you are getting older and as you're traveling and just like living your life, you still have that solid feeling on your heart of just wanting to be an astronaut. Maybe you're at work and you just daydream of being in space. Maybe you've designed your home and like everything's space because that's just what you resonate with. What you deeply resonate with and what you desire can definitely become interlinked. And what you want to kind of focus on as you do your journaling and do your mindset work, pay attention to the desires that they just don't go away. They're almost like hounding you, regardless of how you feel about them.
Means essentially there's a part of you that is entangled with that version of you in the quantum field. So whether you are aspiring to be an astronaut and you have a different job or whatever your desire is, if it's on your heart, it's because there's a version of you that already has it in the quantum field. So essentially, it's really just about aligning yourself with where that entanglement is interlinked to match that desired reality. Because as we understand in quantum physics and just in our world and our reality, multiple realities are existing day in, day out, simultaneously. And it's all about aligning self and energy to those desired realities and versions of ourselves.
We can talk about this even more because this is another reason why I will never say I don't believe in specific person manifestation ever again. Like I almost regret saying that because I've had my own experience and it's real, okay? This can also be in reference to a soulmate connection. Quantum entanglement can be, especially when you do this work and you elevate and you grow as a person and you attract some of everything that you've been desiring and life is flowing, but then you can't get that one person out of your head. And it's not even in an obsessive way, because let's say you already did the work to let them go, and you forgave from afar and you feel whole and you feel complete without them. It's not like you're even waiting or anything, but they're in your heart just out of pure love and understanding, and compassion and empathy. They're just in your heart. They're on your heart. And they will have that part of your heart probably forever. That is so deep. I do believe in soulmate connections. And I feel like this is something to not run from, feel ashamed of, or feel like you need to fix, especially if you called yourself doing mindset and manifestation work to move on and find someone else or attract someone else, because you can. When you have that elevated self-concept and you're all there is and you're like the goddess of your reality and you're out here dominating life, girl, the men are at your feet. It's not hard for you to find one. But if you got that one and you just don't know what it is, it's okay to explore that. And it's okay to desire that. And it's okay to even resonate with that. I feel like sometimes people feel ashamed when they feel like they have soulmates, but they feel like they need to not be with them for all of these, circumstances that really don't matter, like these reasons that nothing matters. All that matters is what's within and what's on your heart. Like, what is within? Who are you being, right? And so what would happen really if you focus on that feeling, that desire? What would happen if you focus on it and it expanded for the good, right? So think about it that way. The concept of quantum manifestation is that our thoughts and intentions, like entangled particles, can influence the reality we experience. Meaning, this is why I believe self-concept is the utmost important thing. Self-concept, self-love, self-development. I know that there are some channels that are like, you don't have to heal. You literally just decide and you go about your life. I made this channel for the people who may resonate with me and my journey. And that's why I don't care about talking about the things, even in the manifestation realm, because I have been through some shit. And I don't even say that as like a victim or anything. It's just facts. I am making these videos for the people who their negative thoughts don't leave them alone, right? Like your mind is literally not at peace because you literally have so many negative thoughts about self, about life, about the future, about the past, about One of the most beautiful things that has come to me, not only doing this work, but achieving it and being able to rapidly, turn my life around, just my overall being and my overall direction, everything around. One of the most beautiful things is the literal peace of mind. Like, I can finally sit, like if I'm driving, right? Like I noticed it like literally earlier today even. I was just driving, and you know how you have to wait at traffic lights. Some people get super impatient, some people are so like pressed. I like don't be caring. I be like in my own vibe, you know what I'm saying? I be vibing with my baby, you know what I'm saying? Girl, I just be, and don't let me have some Starbucks and I'm really in the vibe, okay? But nothing was on my mind. It was like blank slate. And for my people who have felt the torment of like panic, anxiety, fear, doubt, depression, lack thoughts, stress about this, that, and it's relentless. And sometimes those thought patterns are deeply resulted from trauma. Okay, so of course, get your help, right? Get your professional help for your trauma and manage and do whatever you can. But I am telling you, once you do the mindset work and really uplift your self-concept and really love yourself as all there is, because you are all you have. So you are automatically all there is. And you should love self as such, right? And I know we hear these words and sometimes they fall deaf because, it's like we hear them so often. It's like, oh, well, I heard that before. You're worth it though. You deserve it. You deserve literal peace of mind. You deserve to live a life of flow and ease and abundance. You deserve nothing but the absolute best. I have literally told myself these things, and not only told myself these things, but embodied it to where I literally became everything that I desired within self first. And that's what really happens right before you start attracting every single thing, person, circumstance that you actually want, right? And it's a beautiful feeling, but you have to love self first to allow the flow. Because what you don't ever want to do is subconsciously sabotage, subconsciously push it away, run from it even, or like feel like you're undeserving. There's just so many ways this stuff can negatively manifest if we don't nip it in the bud, right? And the last thing you want to do is start attracting in some of the things that you've always desired and wanted, and then you're focusing on it in a negative way so much to where it goes poof, and then there goes your life going to hell, and then we're dancing in the flames. We're probably at this point we are charcoal. It's not cute, okay? Like, seriously.
In fact, several quantum properties like momentum, energy, and spin all display similar waviness in different situations. We call the mathematical description of this wave-like distribution of properties a wave function. describing the behaviour of the wave function, is the heart of quantum mechanics. But what does the wave function represent? What are these waves of, or waves in?
So one of the biggest ways to expand positive quantum growth is simply by practicing gratitude, because it's just like what I said at the beginning of this video. It's a part of the whole where focus goes, energy flows, but it's only because your awareness will not only attract in, but expand more of who you're being, what you're focusing on, and what you're embodying, right? So if you can be grateful for running water, having food on the table, having your lights on, shoot, I mean, even having internet access, being able to take a nice like hot shower so you can feel luxurious, or maybe you can just turn it bougie for yourself, maybe buy yourself, something nice. Little things, I promise you, you are going to see more and more of it. And then when you truly realize that your life is you pushed out, and I'm going to make a video on that very soon, and you realize that your life is your mirror and it's reflecting every single thing about you, both good, bad, and also neutral, right? Because it's all really about the meaning that we assign things. You will fall in love with yourself in a way that is so intimate, so sacred, so special. And for my, self-dwelling girlies, or my lower concept girlies who always felt like they weren't worth nothing, that forgiveness for yourself is real, and it will come, and you might sob. When I started doing this work, like I was literally just practicing mindfulness and like literally like, just trying to like reprogram my brain. I'm one of those people that like, yes, I believed I needed to be reprogrammed, because literally I kind of found when I started listening to sleep tapes, wow, some of these things I've literally never even heard before. It's sad, but it's true. Some of the affirmations, like honestly, are like, you're an amazing person. You are so inspirational. You are all there is. I had never been told I was all. I'm sorry. No one has ever came up to me and told me that I'm all there is. If they did, I would have been like, but when I really like started listening to these affirmations and really like applying them and honestly studying the meaning of them, and really like applying it to my personal life, I sobbed one night. Literally, I was doing like my I'll never forget, like I literally I like to light my candles. I do a quick meditation, I'll put my baby to sleep, whatever, and then I'll kind of listen to either some quick nightly meditations or some affirmations, or I'll do a sleep tape. Girl, I had put on one of Dylan's sleep tapes. I think it was a self-concept one. And normally like I can drift or whatever. And I have also had experience with the whole weird dreams and stuff like that. We can talk about that too. But like there was one night where I put on his sleep tape, and it was just, it felt so loving. Like, and that was when I started really feeling that deeper connection to self, because I started actually visualizing myself as these statements. Like, you are so uplifting. You are stable. You are the beacon of your life. I mean, maybe not in that like verbatim, but honestly, Dylan has a lot of beautiful, uplifting affirmations. I would definitely start with him if that's what you're interested in. But I think this is like actually when I believed those affirmations for the first time for myself, because I sobbed. I was like, I sobbed. I was like, ugh. And I had a moment to myself, and it felt like I was being embraced. It's honestly the most like wild, like, but beautiful experience. And this is why I will always advocate for doing this mindset self-help work. Like, this is exactly why I started a whole separate channel for it. Not only because this is my passion and this is just my path and this is just where I'm at in life now, You know, as my life continues to upgrade and change and reflect the better, and like finally, like I've arrived, I don't have any doubts or fears or anything that's going to like hold me back from this chapter, because I have finally nipped things in the bud to where I have literal peace of mind. And not only does everything in my reality give me evidence of what I've been manifesting, but everything in my reality is automatically reflecting me. So there's no more thinking outside of myself. There is no more of me feeling like I'm being attacked by my world, because I am my world, right? Right? If you think about it, it really makes sense.
Like the universe is allowing all possibilities to exist simultaneously, but holds off choosing which actually happened until the last instant. Weirder, those different possible paths, those different possible realities interact with each other. That interaction increases the chance that some paths become real and decreases the chance of others. There's an interaction between possible realities that is seen in the distribution of final positions, in the interference pattern. That pattern is real, even though the vast majority of paths involved in producing the interference never attain reality. In the Copenhagen interpretation, that final choice of the experiment, of the universe, is fundamentally random, within the constraints of the final wave function. The theory of quantum mechanics produces stunningly accurate predictions of reality, and it's completely consistent with the Copenhagen interpretation. But this is not the only interpretation that works. There are interpretations that give the wave function a physical reality. Remember, we know that light is a wave in the electromagnetic field, and quantum field theory tells us that all fundamental particles are waves in their own fields. This may give us a more physical medium that drives these waves of possibility.
You are your reality. So if you are your reality, what is there to be afraid of, really? If it's all you, think about this. If it's all you, what is there to be afraid of? What is there to be mad at? What is there that's lacking if it's literally just you? Like you're like literally you. And you're amazing. Okay? The way you are. You are beautiful the way you are. But you have to believe that about yourself first to let the rest unfold. And that's why nipping the limiting beliefs in the bud, uplifting the self-concept, focusing, growing, the gratitude, it will all expand and eventually it'll all connect, because honestly, manifestation, all it really is a journey back to self. Sometimes in life we get a little lost. Sometimes we get a little wayward. Sometimes things happen that just don't make sense. And to be honest, it's all us. So whether you care or not to address it, that is when you'll discover it. And so I love you guys very much. Let me know if you all want another like quantum video, and let me know what you all think. And I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.